Matt the Man here. So, right there, I just did a whole podcast about 80s and 90s movies that we never got a sequel to the original. Now, there is a franchise that obviously has had sequels, has had an actual trilogy, and that is Back to the Future. Now, there's been a lot of talk over the years of what are they going to do with that property? What are they going to do with that franchise? I mean, all the movies were successful, financially, mostly critically. I'm personally not a big fan of part 2 and 3. I love the first one, it's like my favorite Robert Zemeckis film outside of Castaway. But I didn't even see the first Back to the Future till I was in college. But I love that movie, it's a great movie. Even though you don't realize how messed up the 80s were when it came to stories. Think about it. 80s, Back to the Future. You gotta go back in time to set up your dad and your mom in order to have you. But your mom has a thing for you and wants to have sex with you. That would never work today. I don't know how it got past then. So you want the mother to have sex with the son. She likes the son that much. Yeah, let's relight that movie. Or you can look at Terminator. Like I said, the 80s were all screwed up. But I like the 80s. I like the music, I like the movies of the 80s. We don't see either of those nowadays. But even Terminator. So let me get this straight. John Connor. You're going to send Kyle Reese back in time. Yes. Just for him to meet your mother, Sarah Connor. Just for him to fuck her in order for you to be born. Pretty much. And then we don't need you after that. We don't care if you die. Your only mission is to find my future mother and fuck her. And then that's it. That's the basis of Terminator. Alright. That says a whole new meaning to hit it and quit it. Just saying. Alright. So, Back to the Future. Let's get back on track. But there's been questions like, what are they going to do with Back to the Future? Are they going to reboot it? Are they going to remake it? Robert Zemeckis, who's the writer, director of all three Back to the Future movies, has said, as long as I live, there will never be a remake or a reboot of Back to the Future. That's fine. But what about a sequel? And in today's climate of legacy sequel, it could be perfect. Not only that, but Steven Spielberg has produced a lot of Robert Zemeckis movies. What if Steven Spielberg came in and directed Back to the Future for Robert Zemeckis? I think that would be the one way that Robert Zemeckis would be like, okay, I'll let you do it. But not only that, if we do a legacy sequel, I don't want to do a remake. You can't do a remake. A reboot? Possibly. There's been a lot of talk over the years of, let's get Tom Holland and do a remake of Back to the Future because he looks similar to Michael J. Fox. And he does. But I have something better. Let's do a Back to the Future 4, a legacy sequel. You bring back Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly. This time he's an adult. He's a husband. He's a father. He has 2 kids. You bring back Christopher Lloyd. He was just in the movie Nobody last year. He's shooting a movie right now. So he's still acting. He's still got it. And this time, you bring in Tom Holland to play Marty's son. Call him Michael McFly. Why not? Michael McFly, son of Marty McFly, Michael J. Fox. And Marty also has a daughter So they have two kids, a son and a daughter. Maybe they're twins. And you bring in Zoe Deutsch, and I'm going to get to her in a minute. And there's a big reason why I say that. You bring back Leah Thompson, who played Lorraine. Now she's a grandmother. If you want to bring back Crispin Glover, you know, the father, Marty's father, you could. That's one I wouldn't care too much about. But here's the thing. Now, the question is, okay, they go back, and this time, though, Doc Brown comes in, hey, Marty, I need your kids. And he takes Tom Holland and Zoe Deutsch, because this time you're going to have both of them go back in time, not just one of them. And the reason why I say you bring in Zoe Deutsch is because in real life, her mother is Leah Thompson, who played Lorraine McFly. So a mother and daughter. So that way, you have a daughter that looks similar to the grandmother. Like sometimes in real life, a gene will skip a generation and go to the other generation, the next generation, and that's why sometimes you see like the granddaughter looking more like the grandmother, but when she was younger, that could work perfectly. Not only that, you bring in Zoe Deutsch, so then if you did a sequel after the fourth one, now you still have someone in the family, Leah Thompson, carrying the torch, passing the torch over to her daughter, her real-life daughter, Zoe Deutsch. Now, like I said, I don't know what the story could be. You're not going to have Michael J. Fox in it that much, since, you know, he's dealing with an illness, a disability. But if he shows up at the beginning, shows up at the end, who knows, maybe there's a story where the kids have to go back in time and save Marty from, almost, maybe he was about to die, or maybe he is dead, and, you know, if there's a way to go back in time and save him, they could. I don't know, but it's also, the question then becomes, what do you do with this movie? Is it in the present and they gotta go back to the 80s? I think that would be a great timeline. 80s had great pop culture, movies, music, history going on, the Cold War. I mean, the 80s would be a perfect time to go back in time to the present. Then when you look at today's technology and our you know, computers, iPhones, all that, then you have these kids get dropped in the 80s. No technology, not like it is today. That could be interesting. Or for our generation, you could go to the early 90s and deal with that, the start of computers and stuff like that. I don't know, I think that would be, like I said, bring back Michael J. Fox, bring back Christopher Lloyd. Tom Holland would be great to play the son of Marty. Zoe Deutsch to play the sister, who is related to the real life Leah Thompson, Lorraine McFly, and bring back Leah Thompson. Well, what do you think? Who would you, what year would you want to go back to? Do you want to go back in the early 2000s? Around September 11th? Would you want to go to the 90s? Would you want to go to the 80s? I say 80s because, once again, the original, when it started out, they were in the 80s. And then he went back to the 50s. Yeah, 50s. So we started in the present and then went back to the 80s, you know, over what, 30, 40 years ago? 40, yeah, 40, around 40 years ago. That can be a very interesting, there's a lot of rich stuff in the 80s to mine through. The music, the movies, political stuff. So let me know, would you rather have a reboot or a remake, or would you have a direct sequel to Back to the Future? Let me know in the comments below.